Oh my God, it's 2022 and there's no fucking content. As you can hear from my voice filtering out right now, and steam on top of my balls, the levels of frustration and the amounts of deception that has been piled up for so many years just can't bear the mind that the PvP is not getting the same treatment that the main game is getting. They got fucking necks, they got twisted leagues, and other bullshit that PvP is not getting. I think I've just related to everyone in the PvP community on how frustrated we are that Jagex is not delivering us content, and because of that, the wilderness is suffering. What's up, you guys? It's your boy Cato713, and today we're going to talk about how the wilderness has been lacking of content and the frustration that the entire PvP community is facing, and I'm just pretty much going to break it down to you guys. So it's literally annoying to know that a company like Jagex takes forever to update a game that has been going on for so many years. I'm getting to that point where it's just I'm losing hope at point, as there's literally no desire of me even playing this game or even continuing because of the lack of content it hasn't received since the last significant content, that which was in 2017, the Revenant Cave. I don't get it, man. It's just like this game has been proposing a bunch of ideas to Jagex, and we've listed out a bunch of ideas and even gave it to them. The old school team even made an entire Discord for all the content creators that got invited, and they even gave them a list, and I don't know if we've even seen some of that content, and the content that was listed on there was probably just small and pitched to their own. I haven't even kept up with this game for so long because what is there even to be kept up with? There's just no content. I mean, if you go into the wilderness and you sit out there for a while, you're literally not going to find no soul out there, and even if you do, it's probably going to be the same 3 or 4 people that's playing in the same area as you are at that night. It's just like, it's ridiculous to even have 500 worlds when knowing that the PvP community is small as 500 and below. No one that I know that PKs out there actively that they used to back in 2016 are no longer even playing the game. The main areas that everyone goes to right now is literally Revenant Cave, and surprisingly people are at Chaos Altar for some odd reason, but that's where I see most of the multi-clans. Ever since Revenant Caves got nerfed from multi to singles and they got changed, all the multi-clans are literally at the altar, and even if it's just the same or 3 or 4 clans that I see. But the idea is this: the wilderness is not active. It's only active in one area, and it's frustrating because why make it one hot zone when you can make the entire wilderness active with everyone roaming around like it used to be back in 2016? I just think that Revenant Caves was a bad update in my opinion, because it literally got everyone from roaming around the entire game to focusing on only just that particular spot of the game. The main issue right now is pretty much finding players, and it's really annoying. I think that Jagex, if they take their time or something or whatever to add something in the game to make everyone roam around and not focus particularly Revenant Caves, it'd be pretty nice, because I want to multi-PK again. I mean, single PKing is fun, but they just literally killed the entire multi scene. I mean, no one's really out PKing anymore, and it's just MMO part of the game is just playing with everyone, and to me it's really hard to not have a multi scene in the game anymore. Another thing that really annoys me about this game is that the main game actually gets more content than PvP itself, and I'm not just speaking for wilderness only content, I'm speaking for the entire PvP community. I mean, look at the main content that Jagex has been putting out for the main game. I mean, for leagues, quests, next that just came out, even other content that they are still in the works of making. I mean, dude, it's just like they get literally showered with content, and I don't see the same love for PvP. And it's just like, deathmatch mode is cool and all, but honestly at this point, let's just admit to ourselves that that game is just literally at its dying last leg. It's just, I don't know what the hell they're even trying to do with that game. I don't even myself playing that game anymore, because of the simple fact knowing that every time when you participate in that game, every time you play, and when the final hour shows up, there's always a catastrophic event, and I've been through so many, and it's just become a fucking trauma at this point that I just rather not waste or take off time from work a week and just invest my time into that, because it's just not worth it in my opinion. But there's players that still do want to play deathmatch mode, and hey, I'm not saying don't make deathmatch mode return. At least try to commit and have somebody from the old school team play the game and know what's wrong with it, because it seems like you guys don't really test your game out, especially when Lukey's had came out recently. I don't know what streamer it was, but I think I have a clip here. He had PK'd a guy and he couldn't even get the Lukey. It just disappeared right away, and it was just kind of frustrating on my end to see that, because I'm like, well, Jagex just doesn't really take their time into testing out their content that they're putting out, and it just goes to show that it's the same thing for deadman mode. I mean, it's just like, wow. And it's just like, man, I'm just so disappointed with this game, with how it's been turning out for all these years, because I know when I entered this game back in 2016, it was so active to the point that I was just so able to get along with the entire community. We can play together, have fun. And if you try doing that right now in 2022, there's literally no one that I know back of 2016 that's still playing this game. And even if they are, they're just watching my videos or watching content creators at this point. Even friends of mine that are content creators have even quit the game because they even said the same thing. Well, there's lack of content, there's nothing to even do in the game. It's the same type of style, pking. It's just boring at this point. I don't know, man, but I'm just at that point right now in the game that I no longer even want to play anymore, because it's just like, why would I waste my time playing a game that is no longer even going to even consider even looking into adding content? Since we're on the subject of lack of content for the wilderness itself, I remember that Abyss made a video about expanding the wilderness, and those ideas honestly looked like a lot of fun to play with. I mean, especially the part where multi, all the resources area, singles and stuff, it just added a new area into my head. It's just, I was just imagining a lot of stuff that I could be doing in that specific type of part of the wilderness. And it's just like, man, the entire time that I could probably playing with you guys or massing up or having fun, it's just knowing the fact that there's a new piece of land in the game, and that's what the wilderness needs. It needs new land, needs new places to roam around, not this old content that we've been playing, because obviously, you know, you can't keep playing the same thing even though it's called Oldschool Runescape. I mean, the main game has had a lot of new updates itself and new areas like raids and raids 2 stuff. Why can't we have that for the wilderness? Why can't we have our own islands, our new expanded wilderness, our new resources, whatever you can name of, weapons, whatever? I just want to play something new. I don't want to keep playing the same game knowing that the game is just dead at this point, because I'm sick and tired of, like I said, I've stated this already, of having to hop around so many worlds. If they can reduce the number of worlds, because knowing now it's just like less than 500 PKers at this point, it'd be a lot more fun. But I could see a lot of problems going with that, with people trying to host services, people kicking off players, and it's just, PvP is really hard to figure itself out right now. But I just don't think it's that much if they actually just work on it, test it out themselves, get involved, and it's just, it would make the area much more fun. Because right now PvP is only being held by a few content creators, and not a lot of even people are even just uploading. And I can see why a lot of content creators are at the same location pking, because obviously we all know that there's a lack of players pking. And for one, it's just, why PK in certain areas that are dead when you could just be pking like places like Revenant Caves or at the altar? At least that's what I'm seeing from it. So I would love to see a bunch of new content from these guys if Jagex had added a lot of new updates. Examples like Abyss making that video that I once said earlier. That was amazing, by the way. But other than that, I mean, I just don't feel like this game is going to see any new content for a long time, knowing how long they take. I don't know why they take so long to make content. I've met a bunch of private server owners that they literally make content within a few days to a week, and it doesn't really take long when it's just 1 or 2 guys just making that. I'm not saying or shining light on the private server community. I know it's harmful if you download it. I'm not here promoting that. I'm just saying, why does it take them less time to pump out content than Jagex itself, a huge company that they know that they have a huge staff that they can acquire themselves, can pump out PvP content at any time, but they take forever for some reason. I don't know why. The question to me is just money, really. And I believe it has to do with money, because obviously, who else is playing the main game? A bunch of Ironman PVMer guys who are going to fund a lot of bonds for them, so it's obviously makes sense for them to pump out content for them and not so much for the PvP community. They have tons of accounts to renew membership, so it's like, I can understand from a money perspective knowing that that's where the money is at, so it's like they're gonna pump out content for them mainly. So, but on the other hand, you know, you have content creators themselves that are big PvP channels who get tons of views and give the game a lot of exposure. And oftentimes whenever guys like Bodhi and anyone else that a tournament's happening, like Deadman mode for example, I've remembered seeing a channel go get up to like 40 to 50,000 viewers on Twitch. Now if that doesn't tell you anything, YouTube videos that are skyrocketing from 2 to 300,000 views, I don't know what else to tell you, because that right there alone is a lot of exposure. But as of right now, the PvP community is in a huge hole. We definitely need to express ourselves way more actively on Twitter and on the game, because if we keep letting the game continue this way, we are only going to see the worst for the game's future. Now, I do like that Jagex is taking a first step into the direction of adding content to the game, because recently they've added content to the wilderness and they're considering adding more to the PvP community. But as of right now, we can only wait and see what they have for us. I have links posted to what they've announced and as well to Abyss's expansion of the wilderness if you guys want to check that video out. It's pretty nice. Other than that, it's your boy Cat713. I will see you guys in the next video. I'm done ranting. Love you guys. Peace.